Hefe Peace or Semere. And on the show this morning, we're not going to be doing, it's not going to be business as usual. We have decided to come up with a topical issue that would be quite expository at the end of the day and informative, especially to the listener on the other side of the radio. So let's give politics, a break today. All right. Yesterday was World Long Day. World Long Day, observed annually on September 25, highlights the importance of lung health and the need to reduce respiratory diseases. And this year's theme, Healthy Lungs, a Healthy Life, emphasizes the risks of tobacco use and the tactics employed by big tobacco to deceive the public. Well, I'm being joined by my guest, virtually this morning to discuss this. He is the media officer and healthy food advocate at Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, otherwise known as CAPPA. Good morning to you, Mr. Robert Egbe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Well, yesterday was World Long Day, and it's beginning to look as though we did not really publicize and also have, very bold conversations, daredevil conversations around the implications of, consuming certain products that are obviously harmful to our lungs as, human beings. But I actually came across an article, written by you where you actually urging the government, to protect Nigerians from harm, a reduction scam. And according to you, there is a new narrative that has been peddled at this point in time that maybe with this tobacco, consumption. All right. This is just an excerpt, from the article that you actually wrote, Mr. Rob. Estimated that cigarette smoking explains almost 90% of lung cancer risk in men and 70 to 80% in women. And you also went further to say that whether smoked, vaped or chewed, tobacco harms nearly every organ in the body, but its most devastating damage is to the lungs and the heart. Mr. Robert Egbe, it's actually a good thing that you are, a healthy food advocate, at the Corporate Accountability and Public Participation, Africa, otherwise known as CAPPA. Help us get sense of what you mean when you say big tobacco, because it's also part of the conversation that we're going to be having this morning. Let's try to construct the narrative that you have actually tagged, false, that is being peddled around big tobacco and its use in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much. The very first thing to note is that big tobacco refers to biggest cigarette manufacturing or tobacco companies around the world. Some of them are in the United States, tobacco products around the world.
Okay.
They have substantial economic power. For instance, just a few years ago, I think in 2020, big tobacco made profits of about over $60 billion. This was more than the profits of many global companies, even more than the profit of Google. So you can see how much power they have from those tiny sticks of cigarettes or those smokeless tobacco products that are e-cigarettes also that they market to people. So they have a whole lot of substantial power, and they try to control the narrative, try to promote these products as being not so harmful, which we know is untrue. As a matter of fact, they have a history of false promotions as
Okay.
far back as the early 2020s, 1920s, when people began to realize that, people around the world that is, began to realize how deadly tobacco was. In America, for instance, they started realizing that so many people were coughing, so many people had respiratory disease, that these things. And now it's even worse because and they've been doing this for a very long time. Tobacco industry has been targeting children because replacement for the meal. So what it does, it tries to teach them, tries to get children to start early, using all their so
Maybe sensitization programs, or even have very bold and daring conversations on how to change the narrative. Because I have personally heard, Mr. Robert Egbe, that you use vape is actually much more, safer to smoking cigarette, which, brings out smoke at the end. We marked this world long day yesterday.
As of these products. You said you mentioned something that uh, vapes and vape cards, knowing full well that these things are harmful and they will damage them. Let's even say for the sake of argument, we're going to see the end result. Hopefully, we will not see the end result. All of us join hands, but they're already seeing the result. The World Health Organization, for instance, says over 60 million young people, 60 million people worldwide, as of 4 years ago, 60 million people vape mission of tobacco users, whether smokeless tobacco, whether snus, whether whatever they want to call it. That's their intention. We want to make money from our diseases, from our deaths, from the destruction of our economies. So that's why all of us must really fight against it. Yes, we didn't do enough, I agree. I think that all of us can join hands. When I say we, I mean there wasn't enough on government side, wasn't enough sensitization, wasn't enough programs to highlight the dangers of these things. That's why all of us have to come together. You guys in the media, thank you very much for this opportunity you've given us. So this is something all of us should come together and work to improve.
Okay. Mr. Robert Egbe, you are a tobacco control advocate. So I want to believe that you are more abreast with maybe reasons why people would want to indulge in activities like this, especially the youth. Even though you are saying now that we're even seeing, minors also, involve themselves, by way of using the vape, or even cigarettes. But is it true that cigarettes are far more affordable compared to vapes?
It should appear so on the surface. It should appear that cigarettes are, they may be more affordable. Yes, that may be correct. But whatever it is, whether affordable or non-affordable, when somebody becomes addicted, it becomes a problem. The person will find money at all costs to buy those things, and that's what the big tobacco wants. It doesn't care whether you're poor. It doesn't. As a matter of fact, it believes in preying on poor people. People who are less exposed, who have less information. Those are the people it targets the most. So whether it's affordable, no matter how expensive it is, um, as long as somebody is addicted, that person, we've seen it with several instances, several kinds of drugs, several kinds, whatever it is. When somebody is addicted, the person find a way to get money, to get funds, to purchase those products, and that's what tobacco does. Tobacco is highly addictive. It contains, whether vaping, whether cigarettes, whatever, it contains nicotine, just like I mentioned.
Mm.
Nicotine is highly, highly addictive. Once you get hooked on it, it's very difficult to stop. So if you're hooked on nicotine, you're in trouble. You have money, you don't have money, you're going to look for that money by hook or by crook to purchase the drug that you feel will satisfy you. So that's what tobacco industry wants you to be addicted, so they can continue making profits from poor health, from the disease that one gets, from death. So
Okay.
that's the situation we find ourselves in.
All right. It's a very, very sad reality, I must, confess. However, let us take a look at some of the reasons why people would want to consume, tobacco-related products, either, whether, through cigarettes or vaping or even getting drugs with high nicotine content. What exactly do you think, is the major reason why people find this very, very convenient, despite the health implications? Because it appears that almost every pack of cigarette out there has an inscription on it that smokers are liable to die young. Yet people pay monies, to get packs of cigarettes. They even pay monies to get vapes, and they exhaust all of these things, even with the inscription that smokers are liable to die young. So there is a clause somewhere. Let's see if we can harmonize our thoughts. How do we deconstruct this, urge to still want to, you know, smoke, even knowing that smokers are liable to die young?
So you're absolutely right. It's a very interesting situation, and one of the reasons is actually very simple if you look at it critically. One of the reasons why people still take to tobacco and tobacco products is because of the tobacco industry. It's something we call TAPS, tobacco industry, tobacco advertising, promotion, and sponsorship. The tobacco industry makes a whole lot of money from said things. So it invests billions
Well, it makes the whole issue, a bit more complex. I mean, because in the entertainment industry, we have so many, players that are somewhat of a role model to, an average Nigerian youth out there. Regulating what, people get to see or watch or even hear by way of entertainment, don't you think that would be a little bit of a Herculean task for the government? I know that there have been instances where um, music artists, whilst performing, some of them would want to resort to taking, alcoholic, products or drinks. Maybe it gives them some sort of inspiration or energy to perform, in a way that is unprecedented. And there are TV stations, as a matter of fact, that would want to blur such content, and they would also, call on the viewer, to use this at discretion, especially while consuming, contents like that. But in terms of tobacco use, whether or not a celebrity was made, an influencer or an ambassador for a certain tobacco industry, how do we regulate what is being put out by these entertainers, knowing fully well that they also contribute a lot to the nation's, economy?
Oh yes, there's actually regulation in place preventing the glamorization of tobacco. Everybody understands that for artistic reasons, there may be a need for the display of some of those harmful products. For instance, you're doing a movie showing a scene where a particularly tough guy, maybe a character in that movie is a tough guy
Right.
who abuses drugs. So it might be difficult for you to say that that person shows. Those instances, what's not allowed is glamorizing it, running adverts. No, 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 that's not acceptable at all. And then there's also the caveat that for movies, for instance, they shouldn't be for many people to smoke or to do drugs and that kind of. And Nigerians are already complying. There was a regulation that was passed just, I think it was
Rob,
sections that you cannot glamorize tobacco. You cannot. There's a particular of a festival that was held recently. It was held this year, and one of the main characters, it was very popular the festival. One of the main characters in that festival was somebody who was displaying tobacco openly, and the pictures were everywhere on paper, on TV, everywhere. That was against the law. So we expect the Nigerian authorities to move in and say, no, you cannot do
All right. Egbe is a tobacco control advocate at Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, otherwise known as CAPPA. We'll take a quick break. Robert, I'll have you hold your thought. Let's go pay some bills. When we come back, we'll look at one of the recommendations that your organization is actually proposing. I mean, we understand that you are calling for 100% tax on tobacco, and tobacco related, products. Maybe that would actually discourage the consumption of tobacco. But we'd like to know how realistic that approach would be at the end of the day. So when we return from the break, we'll have you speak to that and, and also react to other issues that would probably, spring up in the course of the conversation. All right. This is Eagles Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. And remember that on the show today, we are looking at World Lung Day and the need for Nigerians to be protected, from the harm reduction scam that is being peddled by different, players within the tobacco industry as we speak. And I have been speaking with the media officer and healthy food advocate at Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, otherwise known as CAPPA. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, the conversation will continue, and hopefully we'll get to take, contributions from you on the other side of the radio. I mean, this should be of utmost concern to you as a parent, as a caregiver, and even as a youth or as an individual, knowing how much people actually, consume tobacco, related or nicotine, related products in Nigeria, from cigarettes, to vapes, to even drugs that have high nicotine content. So when we return, the conversation will continue. Do join us again.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
Hello, Male. How you dey now?
I dey, my pikin.
Male, wait. Shey make I call you back? You sure say your credit go reach this guy talk?
No worry yourself. Na MTN better gist I dey use.
Who no like better thing? Just go buy new MTN SIM so MTN go dash you 2,100 naira airtime sharply, and on top that one, every call wey you make, whether na 3 minutes for this call or na 1 minute on top another call, e go dey join dey go. And once e gather reach 6 minutes, MTN go sama you 3 minutes extra. Make you for continue that better gist. Oya, dial *123 *2 *1 hash to join MTN better gist today. Terms and conditions dey sha o.
Fly Emirates to 5 destinations in the Chinese mainland: Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Hangzhou, and Shenzhen, and discover new trade hubs. Relax in comfort on board with our world-class hospitality. Explore up to 6,500 channels of entertainment and stay connected with free Wi-Fi. With daily flights from Lagos to the Chinese mainland via Dubai, you can enjoy convenient travel that fits around your business schedule. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
This is Nigeria, where every new day brings a fresh chance to dream bigger, push harder, and live confidently. But true confidence is more than hope. It's knowing that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you're protected, empowered, and ready for the journey ahead. At Sanlam Alliance, we believe confidence isn't just for a few, it's the right of everyone. That's why we have come together, uniting the strength of a Pan-African giant and a global leader to give you the financial protection and solutions you need to succeed. Because when we come together, we protect more, we achieve more, and we all rise together. Sanlam and Alliance is now Sanlam Alliance. Sanlam Alliance. Live with confidence.
Basic Cybersecurity Training, Institute of Cybersecurity Professionals, ICSP. In today's world, your data is your identity, but every second, cyber criminals are out there trying to steal it. Whether you are a student, a professional, or a business owner, one careless click could cost you everything. The truth is, cyber threats don't wait. So why should you? This basic cybersecurity training empowers you with the skills to stay safe online. From recognizing phishing scams to protecting your passwords to securing personal and business data. This training is designed for everyone. Simple, practical, life-changing. Don't wait until it's too late. Enroll today in our basic cybersecurity training because your safety online starts with you. Duration 4 weekends. Office contact ACCMP Wing, Candlelix Plaza, Suite 13, beside FIRS, Dusek Junction, Kubwa Expressway, Abuja. Telephone number 070 37 73 6911, 070 37 73 6911, or 070 83 88 6662, 070 83 88 6662. Register now.
Any motor where you dey drive, you need confirm protection, no, for your engine, no. Make am mobile, make it mobile, oh, make it mobile, yeah. Anywhere you dey, your motor deserve to be number one, yo. Make it mobile, oh, make it mobile, yeah. Mobile carry the go, make everybody join me, say, make it mobile.
Make you go with the best.
Make it mobile.
Things they happen for our community, eh?
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Hey, yeah. That one my own don't finish.
My dear, let's go and greet them, okay?
Hey! Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us and welcome back from that commercial timeout. It is still Eagles Outlook live on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, your radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. And we're still having conversations around this year's World Lung Day, which was yesterday. And the theme for this year is Healthy Lungs, Healthy Life. And we have been reminded, you know, as a nation, as a people, that tobacco remains one of the biggest threats to lung health, and Nigeria cannot afford complacency. Now, if you must know that worldwide, over 1 million people die due to lung cancer each year. And it is estimated that cigarette smoking explains almost 90% of lung cancer risk in men and 70 to 80% in women. So whether you're smoking, you know, or you're vaping or you're chewing, you know, tobacco, please note that it actually, you know, harms almost every organ, you know, in the body. And the most devastating damage is to the lungs and the heart. Well, you should take note of that. And I still have my guest, who is a media officer and healthy food advocate at Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, that is CAPPA, Robert Egbe. He is with us on the show virtually this morning to look at this. Mr. Robert Egbe, thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Whilst the conversation continues on here, I would like to encourage you on the other side of the radio to also call in to share your thoughts as to what you make of this conversation. Will you say that it has been expository, it has been revealing to you, so far? Call us on 09087668888 or 09073530044. And you can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal number on 09097054450. As an individual, as a listener, how much of a concern is it to you that we have, tobacco related products in circulation across the country? Almost everywhere you find them, and despite the inscription on some of these products that smokers are liable to die young, we still have people patronize, and also consume these products. What exactly could be the problem? Is it lack of awareness? Or you think it's some sort of societal pressure that is actually pushing people, to consuming these, tobacco-related products with very high nicotine content? Because that's what my guest has been able to help us understand this morning. That any products with very high nicotine content is actually harmful, not just to your lung, not just to your heart, but almost every organ of your body. So what more? I mean, in terms of a realistic approach, if you must suggest, what would it be to the government, at all levels, and also to caregivers, to parents? What must we do at this point in time to discourage this trend of smoking amongst the youth and the elderly in our society today? Now, let me come back to you, Mr. Robert Egbe. Now, there have been calls for an upward review in terms of tax on tobacco, tobacco products, raising taxes on tobacco products to 100%. Do you really think this is a realistic, approach to reducing its use, especially amongst, the youth in Nigeria?
Absolutely, I'm going to say absolutely. Studies have shown, studies conducted by the World Health Organization and several other tobacco control advocates have shown that when the price goes up high enough to discourage consumption of tobacco and tobacco products, especially among people who cannot ordinarily will not be able to afford it, among the poor, people who cannot afford to treat themselves when they fall
Right.
That's when they told people, and Canadians started smoking. That's when they tell all the white voters in terms of Canadians were smoking and they were falling ill, just like Nigerians are falling ill. Americans fell ill. People all over the world are falling ill. You know, so people spent money trying to treat themselves. Several people died. The case lasted for 27 years
Wow.
before the tobacco industry finally agreed and said, yes, it's true. We are responsible. And now they're going to pay the Canadian government $32.5 billion. This is similar to what happened in the United States. In 1998, the United States government also reached an agreement with the tobacco industry. And the tobacco industry agreed to big tobacco that agreed to pay $206 billion over 25 years. Then they'll be paying other sums indefinitely to the people that suffered from tobacco and people that got cancer, that got mouth disease, that all kinds of health issues and economic cost. So we're saying that this is a roadmap for Nigeria. Now that Canada, the United States has done it, Canada has done it. We have a template. We know the things they said in court that made the judges convinced that yes, the tobacco industry is guilty. We know the defenses that the tobacco industry put up, the lies they told, and they were so obviously lies that it couldn't stand. So we're saying that this is a template for Nigeria, it's a template for the rest of the world. We can hold the tobacco industry to account, big tobacco to account.
Do you see I'm sorry to bother you, Robert. Do you see the political will? Do you see the political will, on the part of the
The government have not done this before. No Nigerian government was interested in this before. It's one of the things we've been fighting for. Take money, tax tobacco, tax alcohol, tax sugary drinks, sugary beverages, and take money from there and use it to finance health and use to take care of those who are suffering from these diseases. No Nigerian government was interested before, but the current government is. So we're saying that we believe that signs are indicating that the government might be interested in this kind of venture. So, and it doesn't even have to be the government. It could even be individuals. A group of individuals can come together who suffer from these things, can come together and say, we're suing the tobacco industry for XYZ reasons, but look at the damage that's caused us. Because imagine a breadwinner to me, whether extended family, whether friends, whether colleagues, that affects the economy because we've lost a productive member of society.
Right.
So there's very, very good ground for bringing up this matter, bringing up this case against the tobacco industry. And whether the government likes it or not, whether it's political will or not, if we're able to get enough groundswell of people, of voices saying this is what we want, the government will have a choice. I know this quote is often misused, but I'm going to use it again. Like Nigerians used to do, we say the voice of the people is the voice of God. So when we have enough people saying this is what we want, we're tired of the tobacco industry, it's destroying us, it's destroying our homes, the government will have a choice. So that's one of the things that we can do. The government can do, Nigerians can do, and say, look, we're going to sue the tobacco industry for all the problems that it's caused us.
Okay.
And I believe when we do, and there's a precedent for it. In 2023, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission fined British American Tobacco for $110 million. It was unheard of in Nigerian history. That was the largest fine ever issued by the regulator. So this shows that it's possible. And British American Tobacco paid. It quietly paid that money, $110 million. So because it knew what it was doing, it was unlawful. It breached public health regulations and it was caught. And it did that. So it shows that they will pay. It's just that we haven't mustered the will. Maybe it's a lack of information on behalf of on part of Nigeria.
Okay.
But these things are possible. Canada did it, we can do it.
Okay. Robert, let's also look inwards, by way of helping farmers transition to alternative crops, to reduce dependence on the tobacco economy. Is that even possible?
Absolutely. I'm sure nobody wants to produce products that are harmful. I'm certain of that. If you know this thing is harming you, it's causing you disease, it's causing your children, your families, you won't want to be associated with it. So if you find a better crop to produce, if you find the resources to transit, that's okay. I'm not going to grow tobacco. Let the tobacco industry go and get its product from anywhere. I am not growing it again. If they get enough support, I'm sure
Okay. Well, we are almost wrapping up the conversation now, but I mean, it's just important that you also tell us or help the listener on the other side of the radio get sense of what level of partnership is going on between CAPPA, that is your organization, and maybe the Ministry of Health and the government, basically, in terms of pushing, this sensitization to the grassroots. Because whether we like it or not, the conversation must continue beyond radio. We have to take this conversation to the streets, to the schools, to the market, and almost everywhere, so that we won't have to come back and say that the reason why this trend is still ongoing in Nigeria is because of, lack of awareness.
Okay, so CAPA is a member of the Nigerian Tobacco Control Alliance. It's an alliance of organizations which oppose the tobacco industry. It believes in tobacco control. So all of us come together every now and then, and we partner with the government, the Ministry of Health. In fact, there's a unit in the Ministry of Health called the Tobacco Control Unit. So we
Okay.
partner with all of these just to get the message out there and keep on sensitizing Nigerians, providing information where we can, providing awareness so that the needful can be done to stop this public health crisis. Because that's what it is. It is a public health crisis. Something that affects all of us. We partner with the media, partner with everybody, all stakeholders. Every now and then we seek for opportunities to come on there and talk about this. We also call on the government. The government has a whole lot of roles to play. Let me let you in on this. The tobacco industry capitalizes on what we've noticed in third world countries. Tobacco industry capitalizes on countries that are unstable.
Okay.
Countries that are suffering. I'm sure you're aware Sudan is in the midst of a kind of civil war, and a terrible, terrible civil war. Thousands of people are dead, more are dying every day. Tobacco industry capitalized on this and sought to introduce something that is called kiddie packs. Kiddie packs are cigarettes. I think there were 10 in a pack, and the way it is, it's very cheap. It's very attractive to children. It's something children can buy. Tobacco industry realized that there was instability in Sudan, and it smuggled in these kiddie packs. People are fighting, people are dying, they need help. You didn't provide them with help, what you provide them is cigarettes. So they can even get unhealthier and die. So tobacco tried to bring in these kiddie packs, which were banned, which are outlawed, even in Sudan, outlawed in Nigeria, outlawed everywhere. They tried to bring it in. They brought it in properly. They wanted to bring it from Pakistan and bring it to South Sudan, a country that is wrecked by war. So that's one of the tactics, that's one of the things they do. They capitalize on political instability, areas where there's lawlessness. So if the government is able to get its hands together and ensure there's law and order in Nigeria, enforce the law banning tobacco advertising, enforce the law regulating glamorization of tobacco products, the tobacco industry won't have enough space to manufacture. I mean, they're still going to try, we know that, because they have a lot of money. They're going to bribe people, that's what they're doing, that's their trademark. But if the government does its job and all of us help putting pressure where pressure is needed, we believe that this thing can work. We can keep the tobacco industry out of our homes and out of our societies.
All right. Well, let me quote you in your words. There is no safe form of tobacco, and to protect our lungs, we must reject big tobacco's deceptive strategies and also shun its products in every form. And I'm afraid we just have to leave the conversation here because of time. I really wish we can go on and on. But in a nutshell, I mean, one would say that the conversation today on the show has been really very, really, really insightful and also expository. Robert Egbe is a tobacco control advocate at Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, that is CAPPA. Thank you so much for spending part of your time with us to help us get sense of, the health, risks associated with, tobacco consumption. Thank you very much, Robert Egbe.
Thank you for your time and have a great day.
All right. Well, that's just about the size of what we can bring to you on the show this Friday morning. We trust that you've been able to learn a thing or two from the conversation. And please make it a point of duty to, carry on with this crusade wherever it is that you find yourself, okay? Whether you are vaping or you're smoking cigarette or you're sniffing tobacco, please know that it is harmful to your health.